right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the recap. Michael D'Angelo and El Commandante, Daryl Ortiz on the road to WrestleMania. They gave, what is it? Are we 20 days out? 20 days as of
20,
yesterday.
yeah, 20. Yeah, 20. 20 or 22.
days. So
Something like
we'll
that.
say 3 weeks. is
We're
what we'll say.
close.
3
Yeah.
weeks from WrestleMania, Fast and Furious, building the hype, assembling the card at a frenzy, and continuing to make little title changes that I wasn't super happy about. That happened this week,
Yeah,
and it
there's
happened on SmackDown.
some
But we'll
interesting
get to
ones.
that later because this felt like, why are you doing? Obviously, they did that with Cody when they took the title off of Drew McIntyre. But it's like, why do you keep changing titles right before WrestleMania? Maybe give some other people their WrestleMania moments that they worked hard and earned. But we'll get to that part a little bit later. But
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw,
Well,
continuation of
one thing
building.
that did go well on Raw was they opened up with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman talking about, I really wanted to make note of what Paul Heyman was saying because he was listing out like Brock Lesnar's credentials. I guess trying to put over Brock Lesnar as like who does Oba think he is? Like this is Brock Lesnar, right? And he mentioned Goldberg, Braun Strowman, Dean Ambrose, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, John Cena, talking about how he destroyed them all, which did two things, right? It obviously builds credibility for Brock Lesnar because we all know Brock Lesnar is an animal, a beast. We know that, but that kind of makes me think that Oba's going to win because if the way he's putting Brock over, Oba Femi just winning off of that alone really does like put Oba up there right away, immediately.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Because he's listing out these people. And so it kind of makes me think that that's probably what's going to happen. But it was actually really cool because then, of course, Oba Femi comes out and Brock Lesnar almost gets him in the F5, but Oba shoves him off, hits him over the top rope. And Lesnar does a great job selling this, looking very, very shocked and just like, oh my God. Like, I think this is good because Brock Lesnar has been, the way his character is obviously is more about like he knows he's great and he knows he can just destroy anybody. He has that confidence of himself. And this is making him question that, right? Because now he's like, oh, like I can't just out muscle this guy. Like now I need to like come up with a different strategy. He's calculating, right? So I really enjoyed this segment because it is again the Boston crowd was going bananas for Oba. The Oba chants were like deafening, and
Yeah.
this. I mean, it's this. I mean, even though I feel like it is going to mean that Oba's going to win, I hope so because he
I
deserves
hope
to win.
so.
Yeah,
I hope you're right because I worry that it doesn't. I worry if they do too much of making Oba look strong heading into WrestleMania. They tend to do that, like, the person
like overbuild. Yeah,
overbuild, and then the person who's getting beat down the whole time gets the last laugh
yeah,
at the actual pay-per-view or a PLE. So I hope so. I really am concerned about it. I thought it was interesting that they did name drop Dean Ambrose, even though he's not with the
yeah.
company anymore. That was a little interesting. Of course, he talked about the fact that he came back and like wrecked John Cena,
Mm-hmm.
during the retirement tour.
Yep.
So I liked everything about that, and even the fact that the way that Omafemi just knocked him out of the ring was kind of like a payback for Royal Rumble because he kind of eliminated him from the ring the way that Lesnar eliminated Omafemi at the Rumble. When I was like,
Yeah.
why'd you let him clear him out of the ring? So it was almost like getting even for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, so there was a lot of things that were really, really good about this. I really hope that they pay it off in the right way, and I really, really hope that they put Oba over him. But we still got a little bit more time to build. Maybe Lesnar will get one over on him next week,
Yeah.
or in a couple of coming weeks, so that's a little bit more even heading into it. But so far, so good. I really like what they've done here.
I'm liking this feud. I'm liking the way it's being built. Not as much talking needed, just, straight, just battle. So we'll see. After that, we had a weird match. I'll call it weird. We had the Vision versus the Usos. Of course, this was for the tag titles, which was odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, so actually, I'm sorry. It was a non-title match. Sorry. Non-title match is what they said. But what made it weird is, of course, like the Usos and the Vision have always had their beef. Logan Paul, before the match, was showing off his highlights from the flag football game, the celebrity flag football game that they had, of him, going at Tom Brady, jaw-jacking at Tom Brady, which likely means that Tom Brady is going to show up at WrestleMania and
it's feeling
do
that
something
way.
with him. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I guess. I mean, WrestleMania is known to have like the celebrity appearances and the celebrity angles and all that stuff, so I get it. That's fine. But what was weird is they had LA Knight come out, and right as Logan Paul was going to use the brass knucks, LA Knight gets him and tosses him to Jay, and Jay just like straight in front of the ref just decks him with him, like knocks out Logan Paul with him in front. Like the ref is literally looking at him, and he just like decks him with him, and I'm like, okay, Jay, that's not how you. That's not okay.
Yeah,
I
and he got
guess.
his team DQ'd, and it was just like everything about it was like, yeah, that seems like that's a rookie move, Jay. Like you know
Yeah,
better than that. Like
yeah.
they're doing this whole Jay, like leaps before he looks kind of thing, and which is not at all what Jay Uso. And I know it's part of it's like the Uso coming unhinged and
Hmm. I think
potentially
that's what they're
becoming
trying
a
to do, but it's
heel.
kind of yeah.
It's just
But
but it's kind of silly for me.
it is. I agree, and don't get me wrong. I love silly wrestling, but
Yeah,
this
but
was
silly fun. I
because
like silly.
yeah,
Danhausen silly is what I liked.
Danhausen. But see, the thing is, like even afterwards, you had LA Knight like telling him like Jay, you're supposed to wait till the ref's not like LA Knight's even telling him like, dude, why did you
Like,
do
come on,
that?
man.
Like, so it's just I don't know. Like I'm curious. I mean, don't get me wrong. This storyline does have me intrigued. Obviously, we're gonna have the Usos and the Vision in some sort of match with LA Knight involved. I don't know how, but and Tom Brady apparently. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm curious. It piqued my interest, but again, just not this was weird because then why would you do this? Austin Theory jumps in the ring and then gets knocked out too because
Yeah.
he's in there with Logan Paul and Jey Uso just runs back in and Austin just like stands there to like square up and then gets knocked out too. So it's just like
Which is like poor. I feel like Austin Theory has been the most victimized by everybody getting injured in the Vision at this point, with Seth Rollins going out, Braun Breaker then going out.
yeah,
Then you had Bronson Reed going out, and so now it's just the two of them. And I love Austin Theory. Austin
mhm,
Theory, I think was great. And I thought this was a cool opportunity to kind of
he is.
reintroduce him, get him away from Grayson Waller, and now it's like it's just him and Logan Paul just trying to hold the Vision together. But they've
Yeah.
turned them almost into like this bumbling idiots
Well,
because there's
it's him and
nothing
Grayson
to do.
Waller all over again.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's really is, and it's a bummer. It's a disappointment because I liked the kind of let's do more of a serious rebranding with Austin Theory and make him a serious threat and make him
yeah,
fed up and angry. And now he's under the tutelage of Paul Heyman. Like I thought that was going to be cool, but now kind of with all the injuries, they pretty much just have thrown that out the window.
yeah. So I think so, unfortunately, but we'll see. After that, we had Becky Lynch out to address the booze and then AJ Lee. Essentially, this was just a back and forth between them to
Yeah,
set up their match at WrestleMania for the what is it? The Intercontinental? No, yeah,
yeah,
the
for the Intercontinental.
Intercontinental Women's Intercontinental title. So this was really just that. Of course, not much really went on. The fact
This is
that
so by the book, and the fact that I was like, I thought they already had a match booked.
yeah, me too. I was like, didn't they already have a match? But I did like the line. I was looking at my notes here. I like the line where AJ Lee had told her, "I'm your daughter's favorite wrestler." That
Yeah,
was actually because Rue has been on record as like an AJ Lee fan, and like Becky's face was like, "Wow!" Like it was great. It was great. I liked it a lot. So it was okay. Just setting up the feud. So I mean, and of course Becky Lynch reminding AJ Lee that the last WrestleMania she was at, she lost and she left, and that's when we hadn't seen her after that, and because that's when she resigned or whatever. And so, a lot of mental stakes here, but I hope AJ retains. I don't know if they'll just have Becky take it again, but we'll see.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Becky will take it back. There's still some time to build to this. I think there's going to be an extra layer here where somebody's going to come down and interfere, or there's going to be like a last second change, and like Maxine Dupree somehow ends up back in the mix at some
Or
point. I don't know,
Natty.
or Natty, or it's a fatal four way. Like there's going to do something. There's something that will happen that will influence this.
Mm.
But I do feel like Becky at this point is probably going to take the title off her, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. So after this, we had another celebrity appearance. We had I Show Speed showing up ringside for the Javon Evans Grayson Waller match.
Hmm.
Of course, during the match, Kofi Kingston again some little stories here because obviously Kofi's been trying to recruit Javon Evans and Grayson Waller's been kind of like being pushed out a little bit, but you had Kofi Kingston refusing to help Grayson Waller early in the match, and of course that
Hmm.
built more tension. Javon Evans hit the top rope Hurricane Rana, followed immediately by the OG Cutter. It was actually really, really good. I
Yeah.
thought this was super, super cool. Javon Evans won clean. After that, Kofi kind of consoled, Grayson Waller post match, and it kind of just I don't know. I'm not sure what they're gonna do because Kofi's kind of like, no, I'm not gonna help you because I want this kid to join us, but we're still cool. It's kind of weird, but we'll have to see. But Javon Evans continued to be built like very well. I think he's showing off his athleticism in the right way. He's super super athletic, and you can tell he is the future definitely high flyer of the WWE. He is doing awesome.
No, he is. And the funny thing is, like this was like the match of the night. Like
Yeah,
on a night that didn't have that many matches and that many
Yeah.
good matches, this thing was a standout. It was great. Javon Evans continues to be extremely impressive. And shout out to Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller physically looks fantastic. Like
Hmm.
he's gotten in the best shape of his life, like very quietly.
Yeah.
Gotten into ridiculously good shape. And it's funny because I think between him and Austin Theory, I'm like, they're both so athletic and so talented and they have
Yeah.
such good look, but they're both just kind of getting used as scenery for
Yeah.
everybody else. So that's kind of tough that they both are kind of ended up in this purgatory. But this thing
Yeah.
was great. This is match of the night.
I agree. It was great. I enjoyed it very, very much. After that, we had Paul Heyman out there to tell Seth Rollins just to like take him out or whatever, and Seth Rollins appeared. Long story short, Seth Rollins got arrested because Paul Heyman has a restraining order on him. Apparently, Seth.
His restraining order.
Yeah,
By the way, not
surprise.
how this works.
No, you usually both parties get a copy of it so that
Yeah,
the other
you've
party's
got to be
aware.
served a restraining order so that you are aware that you can't be within 50 feet. You can't just go, I tricked you, surprise, earlier in the week I put a restraining order on you and now you're in violation of it. I was like, that's not how the law works. Like the cops that were there shouldn't have arrested him. They would have been like, yeah, Paul, if he hasn't been served yet, it's not in effect. He's not aware that he's under a restraining order. So that was silly. The other thing about this too is I feel like the writers for WWE have gotten so lazy that they go for cheap heat on things now. So you had Roman Reigns, earlier on excuse me, CM Punk talking about Roman Reigns. I'm going to bury you next to your father, and then in this one you have Paul Heyman saying when you go to prison, I'm going to adopt your daughter, and it was like, guys, like
Yeah,
can we stop saying wild stuff like I'm going to adopt your daughter or bury you next to your dad? It's the cheapest, lowest form of trying to get heat by just saying the most awful thing that pops into your head. So that felt a little bit lazy to me that they continue to leverage that. So try a little
yeah,
harder writing, team.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was there. Seth Rollins got arrested. I guess it's a way to keep Seth Rollins going because he's still not medically cleared technically, but at
Yeah,
least he's on
you can
TV and
kind
stuff.
of keep them
Yeah,
off air maybe for another
yeah.
week.
Yeah, so we'll see. Unless Becky Lynch is too busy to post bail right now because she has
Yeah,
her match with
she's
AJ
got
Lee.
other things going on.
But you also had real quick backstage segment. You had IShow Speed there, and he got to meet Danhausen and get cursed by Danhausen.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works. I'm curious how that curse is going to work because
Yeah, I was curious too because I'm like, were they going to have something happen during the show and nothing happened during the show?
no,
So maybe it'll play. The sad thing is probably going to play out on social media with iShow Speed, and you
yeah,
have
because
to
that's
watch
how
him on
he.
social media to
That's
get
all
that.
right. I'll wait till it comes up on TikTok and I'll see it. No, we're
Yeah,
good.
or WWE will put it on one of their many recaps that happened during Raw and
Yes.
SmackDown earlier last week. Here's what happened on iShow Speed, and it's like they
Yeah.
got to fill
So
that 3 hour segment on SmackDown.
hey, we got to feel that. So, anywho, we also had Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus the Kabuki Warriors. They actually won clean. So, and Kairi Sane continued to be dysfunctional as a team. Asuka's treatment of Kairi Sane backstage obviously is getting darker by the day,
Yeah,
and it's kind of concerning. But again, we'll see. We'll see what it's to your point earlier about like the absurd things that they're putting out on TV. This is kind of up
yeah,
there. This is like insinuating an abusive relationship, but we'll see. We'll see. Post match, Bailey and Lyra challenge Nia and Lash Legend for the Women's Tag Team Championships next week on Raw, which is odd. Why wouldn't it be at Mania? But I get it. They're probably building to like a triple threat or some
yeah.
fatal
Triple
four way,
threat,
like
or
I had
maybe
told
it's
you.
like a fatal 4-way tag, like tornado tag, which would
Yeah.
be pretty cool because there's so
Yeah.
many teams in the mix right now that I was like, because you got Charlotte and Alexa, obviously. You have Bailey and Lyra, and then the Bella twins. So I imagine this is going to be a fatal 4-way is how they're working this out, but we'll see.
I agree, and I think that's what's probably going to happen, but we'll see. After that, we had Penta defending his Intercontinental title against Dominic Mysterio. Stephanie Vaquer uncharacteristically ambushed Liv Morgan violently in the parking lot, like beat the hell out of her. She beat the brakes off of her. So, I mean, that was interesting. That happened. She forced her way through security and just kept unloading on her, which, again, I like it. I like it, but it's a completely the only thing I don't like about that angle, I get it, but Stephanie Vaquera to me has always been presented as this poised champion.
Yeah,
Like all this heat, whatever, she just kind of like, she's like, all right. And then when she gets in the ring, that's when she lets it out, right? And it's like, is a little out of character for her, but I'm curious. Let's let it slide. I like Stephanie Bucket as champion, so we'll see how that goes. But after that, of course, Dominic Mysterio was rattled, distracted. So obviously that's how you knew he was going to lose, because he was distracted because Liv Morgan got beat up. During the match, JD McDonough tried to interfere. Finn Balor walked out, and then that led to a roll-up pin for Penta. Post-match, Finn Balor just beat down on Dom, sling blade on him, running drop kick, flip dive, and then and then got JD flip dive to the floor to Dominic and JD, and then he hit coup de grace on JD. Actually, is what it ended up doing, which kind of eliminates that friendship there that they had. He sent Dominic into the crowd to escape. Then Finn Balor reached into his jacket and pulled out his Bullet Club, three gesture, obviously. So it's Balor Club. They're promoting it as Balor Club,
Yeah,
but I prefer Bullet Club because Finn Balor is the founder of Bullet Club.
he
And I've
is.
been asking for this since before AJ retired,
Exactly.
jerks. But it's all good. It's all good. It looks like we're getting some form of it, so that's great. So, your
Yeah,
thoughts?
and this will be interesting how they play this out, because obviously it feels like we're heading to a WrestleMania showdown between Dom and
Yeah.
Finn. This is where it heads. But I'm like, do they do it as a singles match? Do they try to do like a tag match between, Liv and Dom versus Finn and Stephanie? Obviously, Stephanie and Liv are facing off at WrestleMania. Do they do like on a night? Like, do they do the women's title match on day one and day two? Do they do like an intergender tag match? Like, I'm wondering what they're going to do here. Or
Mm.
are they just going to do it straight up, Dom versus Finn? Maybe we see Demon King Finn come back against Dominic. I don't know. So I'm curious how they're going to work this out, kind of with all this happening with the intersection of Stephanie ambushing Liv. Now
Hmm.
they have this kind of common collective enemy. I almost feel like they're building towards a tag match. And maybe they'll do the tag match like in the next couple of weeks or so, like in the lead up.
Maybe.
Is what they might end up doing too, because they've still got like 3 weeks of time. So we'll see how they continue to construct this.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I mean, it has me intrigued. Of course, I love Finn Balor, and I'm glad they're bringing out this version of him. I hated that he kind of got brushed off to the side, because
Agreed.
I'm still bitter that he didn't get to keep running with that with his championship title, with the what is it, the undisputed championship, because of his dislocated shoulder. That
Yeah.
hurts still.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see. But
We'll
after
see.
that, we had the main event segment of the night,
Mhm.
which was CM Punk acknowledging that, what was it? It was Jimmy Uso. Yeah, Jimmy Uso told him backstage he needs to watch what he says. And essentially, CM Punk told Boston that he knows he's old, but he's proud of it, which that wasn't the case last week, but
Yeah.
whatever. Jay Uso came out first. Jimmy told him to let Roman Reigns handle Punk. Jay was obviously still barely holding it together. I guess Jay's coming unglued, unhinged, so we'll see how
Hmm.
that keeps going. But CM Punk provoked him anyway, specifically going after the Jay and Roman dynamic relationship that they had, right? Suggesting that Jay had always been in Roman's shadow. And then Roman Reigns finally came out. He told both men to leave the ring. CM Punk refused. Of course, he says, he's like, you better stay because he's going to need the help. And that's what apparently just let Jay
Yeah, that was
Uso.
enough to set
Yeah.
Jay off.
Yeah. Jay went off and started and attacked him, but CM Punk got the better of him, hit him, took him out with one hit. Weird, but okay. After that, they were about to get out. Roman Reigns is telling him, like, hey man, like, just get out, I got it, whatever. And then Jey Uso's telling him, like, you know what you need to do. And then that, all oddly enough, flipped the trigger in Roman Reigns, and like Roman Reigns went into like classic Roman and just like beat the hell out of CM Punk, which I enjoyed this beatdown better than the one at SmackDown. I think this one was a better closing beatdown segment.
Yeah.
He speared him, but he just tore up the whole announce table area. Again, it was just Jey Uso then gets in Roman Reigns' face because he didn't let him handle it. And it's just, I don't know, there's a lot going on. And you can hear CM Punk, from all the wreckage, CM Punk still talking trash, saying, I'm not the one who needs help. So I don't know.
Yeah, this one's funny. Like again, like you said, they're playing into the whole Jey Uso can't hold it together, and he's
Hmm.
being irrational, flipping out over everything. So that was a continuation. The one thing I did not like about this is the fact that you had Roman basically just run through CM Punk. He hit him with a Superman punch, he hit him with a spear, he powerbombed him through the announce table, and then CM Punk basically no sold it and just laughed. And I'm like, really? Like, you should be totally obliterated at this point. And the fact that pretty immediately after getting put through the table, you're sitting there laughing. So you're
Yeah.
basically no selling everything.
Yeah,
And
like
I'm
the
like,
Roman Reigns punch, like when he punched Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns, that was believable.
yeah.
But it's
Well,
like,
because like
dude,
you
you
hit
got
him once,
hit.
you knocked him down, but it's like you
Yeah,
didn't decimate him. So of
right.
course he's
This
gonna laugh.
dude, you got put through an announce table after you got speared. Like, really? You're gonna no
That
sell
that
that,
put
dude?
Paul Heyman in the hospital for like a month.
That's right.
So if that put Paul Heyman in the hospital for a month, CM
You
Punk should
shouldn't
have
be
at
able to
least been
talk
hurt for a
after
couple
that.
of minutes. Yeah, he
Well,
should
not
have
just
been.
that. Look at when they did it with Cody, and when they did it with Cody, Cody was out. He wasn't
Yeah,
laughing. Like,
he
what the
wasn't
hell?
laughing. I have a hard time believing the like one of the oldest guys on the roster is going
Can
to be
take
like,
that
yeah,
bump
yeah, I'm
better.
old, but I'm tough. I'm like an old piece of leather. So
Jesus.
that for me was a little much because it does now it gets to the point of okay, you're basically no selling. You're not showing me that you're real tough. You're like, look, he did all this stuff to me and I'm totally fine. So that was almost like Hulk Hogan esque, like hulking up,
Yeah.
no sell that I didn't like that much at all.
Yeah.
Like
Not a fan.
if you want to show them wheeling him out later and he's laughing while he's on a stretcher with a neck brace on, I'm fine with that. But that was just too much for me. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. But that was essentially Raw. That's the way it closed out. Next week we're gonna have the Usos and the Vision in a street fight. Bailey and Lyra versus the Irresistible Forces for the women's tag titles. Io Sky versus Raquel, and Brock Lesnar obviously going to be there as well. And then 1 week before the go home show. So we'll see.
Yeah. We'll
We'll
see what
see what
happens.
happens.
I have to imagine that the Bailey, like the Lyra and Bailey, that one's going to end in some sort of a DQ with Charlotte and Alexa or the Bella Twins running down.
Some screwy
Like,
finish, yeah.
and there's gonna be some screwy finish, and they're gonna go, "Wait, ladies, we're gonna have a fatal four way." Like
Hmm.
that's how this is gonna go. It's like almost too predictable at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
But SmackDown was kind of business as usual. You had Randy come out basically to open the show and still getting mostly
Hmm.
cheered and applauded. Yeah, despite his best efforts to try to get booed.
He's trying so hard to get
He's
booed.
trying really hard because he kind of went off on the fans. He kind of tried to pull a John Cena here a little bit when John Cena did his heel turn, was like, that he's not listening to the voices of the fans and kind of tried to run them down a little bit. And they were kind of like, we agree with you. We suck.
Yes, don't listen to us. Screw us.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're idiots. Listen to the voices in your head. And then he said he was going to listen to that. He was only listening to one voice, which is presumably the person on the phone that they
Yeah.
still haven't revealed yet. So
Which he
that
was
was
about to
back-to-back.
reveal. He was about to reveal.
But before he could, Matt Cardona stormed down to the ring for retribution, punched him in the face, and that was it. The segment was over. It was a little underwhelming, and this, of course, led to Randy Orton demanding a match against Matt Cardona, who, despite having a broken bone in his wrist, was somehow medically cleared to compete. So the main event got made, and it was Matt Cardona with a broken bone in his wrist wearing a soft cast versus the murderous Randy Orton. Nick Aldis thought that was a good idea.
Yeah. Because why not, bro? I mean, let's do it. Let's get a full
You want
break.
it, you got it. No, we make things happen here on SmackDown. And then,
who needs medical clearance? We have insurance.
It's fine. They're independent contractors anyway. We don't pay health insurance. And then funny thing is, right after this, Nick Aldis announced a match between Trick Williams and someone. He just said, "Trick, you've got a match at WrestleMania."
Don't know who. So dumb. Yeah.
But it's someone. And then Sammy, I'm sorry, card's full. And it's like, wait, you don't even you haven't even announced who this guy's opponent is. And you won't say, but you're already saying there's no room for Sammy. I'm so sorry. And then Sammy punched Trick Williams because he was mad. And then as soon as I saw this, I was like, well, clearly Sammy and Trick Williams are going to be facing off at WrestleMania. But why? Well, later on, they ended up resolving that. But before we get there, we did have the aforementioned Bella Twins taking on Charlotte and Alexa. And the Irresistible Forces were, of course, down there to watch the match and then, of course, clearly interfere. And Lash Legend did just that. She punched Alexa in the face, which allowed Brie to roll her up. Brie never saw it. And so they ended up winning. I can't remember if this wasn't really a number one contenders match. This was just like the winner.
No, this was just them beating.
Yeah,
it was a feud
in the
match.
Conversation, possibly to be a number one contender at some point.
Yeah,
and then the Irresistible Forces then attacked Alexa and Charlotte and took them out. And then you had Lyra and Bailey with the rundown and the save because they're going to have their match coming up on Monday. And this just kind of felt like a little bit of a mess of like we said earlier, that they're just trying to take all these tag teams and then get them positioned to. We're all fighting each other anyway. Let's just have a big brawl.
Yeah, fatal four-way. I'm pretty sure this is what it's going to end up too. But I mean, it's good. I'll give the Bella Twins credit. They're actually having matches during the week to week, so that way they can.
Yeah,
they don't look so unpolished when it comes to WrestleMania. So I'm glad they're actually. I was upset with Nikki's run because Nikki would hardly show up and then get matches. But here, at least they're showing up and you're seeing them week to week. So I'm like, okay, they're committing to it. So I can respect that. So I'm good with that. But yeah, it's probably going to be a fatal four-way.
I just hope that the Bellas don't win the titles
I hope
in the
so.
Fatal
I
4-Way,
hope
which
not.
I bet they will.
I would love to
I'm
see
betting they
Bailey and
will.
Lyra take it, but
Yeah, that would be cool.
or
I don't know.
let the Irresistible Forces retain.
Retain. Yeah.
Just because
I
they're
would be fine with them retaining because they're
yeah,
so new as
they're
tag
doing
champs.
great as tag
Yeah.
champs. I think so. I think that's a great tag team. I'm glad they put them together because I think that's a great tag team right there.
Yeah, they complement each other well. They do feel like a dominant force that should be
Mm-hmm.
able to hold the title, and it should be difficult to take titles off of them.
Yeah.
It's just in that fatal 4-way format, it's like they don't have to be pinned. So it can be
Yeah.
anyone. Anyone can get pinned at any time.
Anything can happen.
But we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I'm almost 100% sure that's how it's going to go down, but we'll see. You never know. And then after this, we had Rhea Ripley out, cut her promo on Jade, and then she called out Michin and B-Fab for being desperate, and then called everyone out to fight. And so Jade and her new crew came out, and everyone kind of jawed. And then we got B-Fab versus Rhea just thrown together because they needed to face off. Started during the commercial break and then ended immediately after the commercial break in a DQ when Jade just attacked Rhea. So this whole match probably, I mean, from what you saw on TV, was like 2 or 3 minutes, and then it was over. And then all three of them just jumped on top of Rhea, and then she lost the numbers game. And it was like, Rhea doesn't have a friend in the whole wide world. What is she gonna do? And to which I go, so what happened to Io? Because Io's got nothing to do. So I'm assuming Io's going to come back. Io was talking on Monday night. She was trying to talk to Kairi Sane about how, like, hey, I know we had a lot of history, but I'm worried about her. And I'm like, are they going to try to have her bring Kairi in? And it's going to be Io and Kairi trying to even the odds at WrestleMania? Because Rhea clearly needs backup, but she's not aligned with anybody except for Io Sky.
But see,
so it almost felt like they're trying to move the pieces around to make that happen.
Yeah, but see, here's what I don't like about this. So like Rhea, her whole entire career has been built up as this monster force, like taking out anyone and everyone that's in her path. And she can't beat a couple of mid-carders. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I mean, I love Michin. B-Fab's been getting better, but it's like they're mid-carders. How can you struggle against, like, you should have just destroyed B-Fab in like a few seconds. And Jade would have had to come in out of frustration, not make it competitive. And now, like, you getting, oh, there's too many people. Like, you're Rhea freaking Ripley. Like, you can't, like, just that's what annoys. They book her as a powerhouse, and then now it's like, no, don't do that to her. Like, you don't. I get it. They want to make her look like the underdog, but she's not the underdog. That's the thing. She's not the underdog. This should be built, I feel, similar to like how Brock and Oba are being built, like two solid forces that cannot be contained are going to clash out, and that's going to be just a straight brawl. And like, let's do that. Let's not do, because now you weaken Jade by like, oh, now she has backup, and then you weaken Rhea by like she can't beat a mid carder. Like, it's just, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just I don't like that. But
you know,
who knows?
It's funny because, and again, I think it's just the writers kind of like they'll disproportionately change somebody's ability from week to week. Like, gone are the days of Stone Cold Steve Austin like going out and beating everybody from the invasion. You remember when it was like, I need the old Stone Cold, everyone's getting beaten up in the ring, and Stone Cold raced up in his truck with the full queue and just trashes everybody all the way in, and gets down to the ring and stuns everybody. And it was believable. It wasn't like, this is ridiculous. Like, you were cheering the whole time. The crowd,
because you know Stone Cold's a badass. He's gonna destroy everybody.
Stone Cold should be able to walk through all those guys. Stone Cold should be able to beat up Mike Awesome and you know, Brian Kendrick and all these other people. Like this shouldn't be a problem at all. So it should be the same thing with Rhea, but they've gotten really far away from doing that sort of thing. Yeah, so agreed. This one was a little. After this, we had The Miz and Kit Wilson. Miz is still cursed, by the way. He got gum on his shoe.
Kit Wilson got cursed too.
Kit Wilson got cursed right after this segment, but it was gum on his shoe. His phone fell in the toilet. He like almost hit his head. So I like the fact that the Miz's curses are all just kind of like inconveniences.
Yes, it's so perfect because like it's just little minor inconveniences are just like, ah, it's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. And then Danhausen popped in and then ended up cursing Kit before his match against Jelly Roll. So you knew Jelly Roll was going over because he got cursed right before, which I was fine with. And we had Jelly Roll doing his first ever singles match. On SmackDown, on a random episode of SmackDown, which was odd, which means he is, I'm assuming he is working up towards a match at WrestleMania in some capacity. And so it was basically Jelly Roll versus Kit Wilson, with Kit Wilson defending the honor of his mom after Jelly Roll's rap the previous day. This was a nice little match. And one thing I will say is that Jelly Roll does really well is he picks moves that suit his physicality and his style. Like, he's very good about that. So he did the bionic elbow. It's kind of the tribute to Cody Rhodes and, of course, Cody's dad. He hit the belly to Bailey at one point. He hit the power slam, which is kind of tribute to Randy Orton.
Hmm.
Hit the choke slam, which he's used before.
Yeah,
He's
because
used the black
Undertaker's
hole.
training him, if I'm
Yeah,
not
Undertaker's
mistaken.
training him, and he's used the black hole slam before. He didn't use it here, but he's used the black hole slam before. But he picks stuff that he can really execute well, which I think is really, really great. He has a very specific move set. The Boss Man Slam is what it was known as before the black
Yeah.
hole slam. But he this one was fun. It was executed well. It was good. And then he managed to pick up the win here, so that was cool.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed this match. Again, I know people are probably going to complain because Jelly Roll, a celebrity, beat an actual wrestler. But you need to understand a few things here. One, Kit Wilson is a phenomenal wrestler, a singles
Yeah,
wrestler. He is. However, he is also, you have to understand what his gimmick is. It's not, it's kind of like a little bit of a comedic gimmick, which is fine. Comedic relief is always needed
mm-hmm.
in the wrestling world. But he also got cursed, so you got to build up the curse, right? With Danhausen, so you got to build up the curse, and then not only that, Jelly Roll, like you to your point, he's not winning just because he's just blindly doing the Shane McMahon and just blindly throwing potatoes at you. Like he's actually like doing wrestling moves, which is great. Let him do these and just let him have fun. And so I think this was good. The Pittsburgh crowd went crazy, obviously going for Jelly
Yeah,
Roll. And so I think that's great. I did want to note too, like at post match, you had R-Truth backstage building a new clubhouse and
yeah,
charging it to
that was nice.
Aldis's credit card. And Judgment Day is back. And he mistook Jelly Roll for Dominic Mysterio, which is funny as
Yeah,
hell because he's like, "Where's your mustache?" And Damian Priest is just looking all confused. Rhea Ripley walks in, and Truth is like, "Yes, now we're all here together. We returned and this and that." I loved it. But yeah, Jelly Roll and Damian Priest obviously hyped up Rhea Ripley for her WrestleMania match.
yeah.
Jelly Roll still, again, they're using him in multiple segments here. They're helping him. They're having him come out, and which means he should have a pretty big presence somehow at WrestleMania. So we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
he's going to. I'm curious how like what they're building him up to, but clearly building him into something because he's
And
now
then
had multiple appearances.
to give credit where credit's due, the fact that the crowd was cheering really well for Jelly Roll to win,
Yeah,
that shows that Kit Wilson's heel work has been so great
yeah,
because they want to see the heel lose, right? They want to see the heel get his comeuppance, and Kit Wilson has been doing a phenomenal job as a heel, like telling everyone how toxic they are. And it's
and a
perfect.
very likable heel because the crowd will do the "you are toxic." So the crowd does the
Yes,
stuff with him. Like
yes,
he's a very
yes,
likable heel.
exactly. So this is perfect. This is perfect. So I'm good.
It's all the fun stuff it's the stuff that makes pro wrestling fun. It's the absurdity of
Exactly.
it and the suspension of disbelief. But speaking of absurdity, so we had a segment where it was the UFTs backstage, and Solo said he was doing everything out of love, and he can't lead if everyone's not on the same page, and so he apologized for his actions and said, "By the way, Roman never would have done that." And was looking at Tama, and then Tama kind of lingered, and then like Carmelo Hayes popped up and was like, "Hey, you want a shot at this championship?" And then Shinsuke popped in the frame right after that. And I was like, wait a second. So Carmelo Hayes and Shinsuke Nakamura were just standing like a foot away during this whole speech from Solo and not saying anything. And then they would just go boop and then pop over and then boop. Oh, by the way, I'm here too. I'm like, this is the most unnatural looking set of progressive conversations that I've ever seen. So that was a little jarring because it's kind of like they're all just huddled together in this tiny hallway, standing like a foot away from each other. So it seemed absurd, but they were trying to rush all of these segments together. So it's just like assembly line, just have everybody coming bumping in here and talking to Tama. And then basically had right after this, instead of getting uh, Tama Tonga answering the open challenge, Carmelo Hayes went out, and it was Sami Zayn who answered the open challenge instead. And Trick Williams came down to ringside since Sami had punched him earlier. And this was a really entertaining match. It was really, really good, as are all of these United States Open Challenge matches. The bad thing about this is that you originally had Trick Williams just grabbing the title and just kind of walking around with it and distracted Sammy. And then when he tried to hit Sammy, he accidentally hit Carmelo. And then Sammy did what everyone's been telling him to do. Hey, you just have to take advantage of a situation. So he ran and hit the haluva kick while Carmelo was hurt. And he pinned him. And Sami Zayn all of a sudden is the new U.S. champion. And then they immediately made Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for WrestleMania. So that's going to be the match. And this is where I was like, okay, you telegraphed this earlier because you said, Sammy, there's no spot for you. There's no way you're going to wrestle WrestleMania. Trick Williams is wrestling somebody, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. and that somebody just, I guess, so happens to be Sammy because he was going to wrestle for the U.S.
Yeah,
Championship
they
before.
honestly, to me, they telegraphed this
Yeah,
because Sami Zayn, when Trick Williams got the shot and Sami Zayn told no room on the card or whatever,
yeah,
Sami Zayn was like, "Oh, I'll get a match." He's like, "Okay, okay," and then he went and he hit Trick Williams, and I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna face Trick Williams," and then before you know it, like Trick Williams is ringside, and I'm like, Sami's gonna win because that's how they're gonna
yeah.
do the WrestleMania
And
match.
you're gonna do Carmelo Hayes so dirty by taking the title off of him 3 weeks before WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Someone who has just been
deserves
so
the title
great,
shot, the title match at
well,
WrestleMania.
deserves to be able to have the showcase at WrestleMania. He
Yeah,
deserves to do it. And then you're going to take the title off and put on freaking Sami Zayn and do Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams and basically just paint Carmelo off into the background. I'm like, come on. Like I hate stuff like that because they already did that to Drew. And I was looking forward to Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I thought that would have been a barn burner. And then when they did the switch and it was Cody, I was like, oh, come on.
yeah.
Like seriously. And now they did this, with to Carmelo. I'm like, oh, come on. I don't want to see
So
Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams.
what if we get a triple threat? Because what if Carmelo Hayes makes the argument that
We should, but then it kind of nullifies the whole like they've been building Sammy versus Trick for a little while now. And then if you just have a third guy in there, that's odd.
true
Um, so I mean,
stranger
it
things
would
have
make more
happened?
sense. It would make more sense to make it a triple threat. But I just feel like they're gonna kind of just
Because at
push
the end of the
Carmelo into the
day,
background.
whoever it is, we know Trick Williams is going to win that championship.
Yeah. Trick's gonna win. And
Hmm.
so watch them do something ridiculous. Like they'll have Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov become a tag team. And then because they're both like intense rivals and now they're both titleless. And then watch them watch them go become a tag team, and it's gonna be like, well, look at all this wasted talent.
Yeah,
They're gonna do something
seriously.
stupid. I can feel it, and I'm just like, this really, really bummed me out.
Yeah, I wasn't. I
And
mean, I like Sami Zayn, but I'm just like not now
yeah, not now. Like let Carmelo get through WrestleMania,
because
but
Carmelo's been putting in the work week in,
yeah,
week out, having banger
having the
matches.
best
Yeah,
matches on SmackDown
yeah.
consecutively in consecutive weeks over and over and
He
over.
made this
So
match look good too. I mean,
yeah,
let's be
this
honest,
one was
like he
great.
did.
This one was
So,
fantastic. This one was my match of the night for SmackDown. It
hmm,
was really, really good.
yeah,
And then after this, we had got the obvious Jacob and Drew McIntyre jawing, and then Nick Aldis came out and just announced that their match at WrestleMania will be unsanctioned. And I was like, okay, first off, if WrestleMania is such a exclusive card that you were telling Sami Zayn earlier in the night, there's just no room for you, man. Why would you put an unsanctioned match on the card? You were like, look, this is premium. We need to have all sanctioned matches. So is there gonna, and again, I think we've said this before on the show, why would you have a referee in an unsanctioned match? There's no rules, there's no
yeah,
sanctioning, there's no sanctioning body that just go out there and fight each other. But of course there'll be a referee, and of course they'll count and they'll do all those things. Is it really going to not go on their records? Of course it will.
yeah.
Like this is just dumb to me. That it's like, we can't get it sanctioned. This is just too much, so it's unsanctioned. But we're going to give you guys a slot on WrestleMania, just because we know
I
you guys
wonder if they're
get it
gonna.
out of your system. It's
I
like,
wonder
come
if they're gonna
on.
do what they did the last time. Remember when they turned the lights off and back on to like a reset and be like, "This is the match. The show's now over. This is now an unsanctioned match." They did that one time for PLE. It was funny.
Yeah, and it was cheesy, and it'll be even cheesier when they do it on.
But you
I'm
know
just like,
what?
again, some of this stuff just doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah,
in the context of how that they've constructed the story, it's like, okay, you cannot say it's super exclusive. We got to be really careful with the amount of matches that we book. We're going to cut some people out, and but we've got room for an unsanctioned match.
yeah. And see, the only saving grace here is the two men that are actually going to be in the match is Drew McIntyre and
Yeah,
Jacob Fatu,
so it'll be fun, of
because
course.
it's going to be a brutal match. I mean, of all people to have in an unsanctioned match, this is probably the two that you want for sure. So I'm excited for it. It's just, yeah, it was kind of goofy the way they did it, but I
It's
mean,
goofy, but they'll totally try to steal the show, and they very well may,
they
and
might,
it'll be good.
yeah,
After this, we had Tiffany Stratton versus Julia in a non-title match. And then there was a little distraction that resulted in basically Tiffany trying to hit the prettiest moonsault. It was like the slightest distraction that just caused her to slow down a little bit when she was going for the prettiest moonsault. Julia got her knees up, and then she countered and rolled up Tiffany and won. And it was just kind of like a little flat of, again, this goes back to the, why is Tiffany Stratton struggling? Tiffany Stratton, who's the women's champion, who rocketed it up and was doing great, is now struggling against what I would consider to be a mid carder in Julia,
hmm,
with a mid card title. Yes, there was a little distraction, but it wasn't much. But she lost here. and they're clearly building to her having a women's United States Championship match with her at WrestleMania. And I guess they were like, yeah, we just can't. We're not going to have her go over her at this point. But I'm thinking, if you lost her in a non-title match, how are you going to justify having a title match
Well,
against her
because
at
they're
this
going to
point?
say that she doesn't have friends because Julia has,
What, Kiana James?
yeah, Julia has Kiana James, but before that, that's why you had Chelsea Green out there trying to talk to her. And so
Yeah,
maybe Tiffy gets desperate and gets the help from Chelsea Green, which
Chelsea
would be
Green.
okay. So this would be is far fetched, and I know it's going to be goofy. I know people are probably going to hate this, but I don't care. Come at me in the comments, whatever. It would be great to have Kiana James there at ringside trying to distract her in WrestleMania, because this is going to be a WrestleMania match, and Tiffany Stratton's going to win the championship, obviously.
Yeah,
Have Kiana James about to interfere, and you have Chelsea Green rolled out by Alba Fire, and Alba Fire unfortunately is going to get taken out by Kiana James, and then Chelsea Green's going to reveal that she's healed, like she's just going to take off her little cast, her little boot, and like stand up and like
yeah.
take care of
She's gonna
Kiana
do the
James,
Kevin
so that
Nash. She's gonna have like
yeah,
the thing and pull it off, and then like you just see the cast is sitting there by itself, and she stand up.
yes, yes, it should just yeah, you know what I mean? It would be
It'd be hilarious if they actually just set up
so
the scene
Chelsea to
exactly
do
the same.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be so Chelsea Green to do that. And I would love it. The crowd would lose it. It would be funny. It would be great, but it wouldn't discredit Tiffany Stratton, because then she can just finish the match rightfully and win the title. I think that would be a great way to have the match go, but I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think they're that fun. That would be hilarious. I don't think it would be great if they did that, and also just Chelsea Green paying homage to the history
Yeah.
would be hilarious. But
Yes.
I'm not gonna give him that much credit. We'll see. We'll see. Our main event was Randy Orton versus Matt Cardona, as we mentioned earlier. This one was a pretty quick match. I was like, this is going to be long. There's like 30 minutes left. And it wasn't. He basically just targeted the wrist. An RKO and pin Cardona with like 15 minutes left. And they won pretty quickly. Then you had Cody appear on the Jumbotron driving into the parking lot. And then he's like, comes down. He's walking in. He's like, I'm just here to talk, guys. I'm just here to talk. And then, of course, he lied because he just ran down and attacked Randy Orton. Then it was just a brawl at that point, like the pull apart security brawl, everyone going crazy, everyone trying to break things up, and people still cheering for Randy Orton the whole time and still going nuts for Randy. And then you can tell they're so desperate to try to get some heat on Randy that they had Jelly Roll come down, which is the big thing from this is Jelly Roll came down and he interjected himself. He's trying to break things up. And then Randy intentionally RKO Jelly. It wasn't like an incidental thing.
Yeah.
He intentionally RKO Jelly. And then he was looking for that heat and finding none because they were still chanting for Randy as Jelly laid there unconscious and everyone was screaming. The crowd was still chanting Randy, Randy,
Yeah.
Randy, fully over, which is kind of how the show ended. They faded to black. Another unsuccessful attempt to try to turn him full heel and
I'm
get the
sorry,
crowd
but
against him.
nothing's ever going to
Doesn't look
make
it.
them. Yeah, nothing's ever going to make this boo Randy. I'm
It's not
sorry.
going to happen. It's like stop
It's not.
trying.
It's
Stop
not.
trying to.
It's not. I mean, it's not. And this segment was okay. I thought personally it was kind of goofy that like they did the whole reveal that the bus pulled up and Cody just. I mean, Cody, you really just got to the show right now,
Yeah.
like, and then so he gets out, slams.
All they
the
did was
bus
pull the bus
door.
around in the back.
Yeah. And then he's just like walking, and the whole time Randy's just standing there, like everyone's just standing there watching the jumbotron, and I'm like,
Well, like we got to go to commercial anyway. Let's pay some sponsors. Let's just let them walk down.
I mean, not just that, Randy, just go attack him now, go get him. But
yeah, go intercept him. Don't let him walk all the way down here. He's like, yeah, I just had a match. I'm gonna rest for a minute and let him get down.
I didn't like that they did two pull apart brawls to close the segment, because here's what happened: the Roman and CM Punk one was a lot more. I feel a lot better, than this one. Because the other one, the Roman and CM Punk one, felt a lot more emotional. This one felt like, hey, we got some time. Let's let Cody just do his entrance. I mean, he might as well have done the pyro and done the whoa and everything. I mean, might as well have. I love how the crowd just still did it. But
a huge amount of time left. Yeah. Well, because it was funny because it was like 15 minutes left from the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like what's going to happen here? And I was like, wow, a whole lot of nothing happened in 15 minutes. But the funny thing here is, though, they've done a better job of telling the story of like the hate between CM Punk and Roman, and not really focusing on who's the face or who's the heel. It's just like these two hate each other. The difference here is that they're desperately going, we have got to get Randy booed. Like that's all they're doing, and he's not going to get booed. And I'm like, just stop trying to force the crowd to hate this guy. Just let things happen organically. Like next week he's gonna like punch a baby or something. Like we got to
He's
get him
gonna do
over.
the Snitsky. He's gonna punt a baby. The
He's gonna
Gene
punch a baby or
Snitsky.
something. That's what I'm like. What is he gonna do? Because they're trying like, let's just have him do the most awful thing that we can possibly think of, and nothing's. And they're like, one more time, one more time. That's what's crazy about it. They were doing like the one more time chance with Matt Cardona, and
Yeah,
I'm like, poor Matt Cardona getting
I
jumped
know.
out
Imagine
again.
laying there like, God, man, really?
It's like there's nothing I can do. But so it's just like I wish they would just let that go. Just focus on these two hating each other. Stop focusing on making Orton the bad guy. But yeah, but that's how SmackDown closed out on the road to WrestleMania. What did you all think about progression in the stories? What match are you looking most forward to for WrestleMania, or not looking most forward to? You can let us know that too in the comments. We always love to hear from you. And yeah, that's what we got for this week, everybody. We'll see you coming up next week as we're getting closer to the penultimate episodes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave all those comments, and that's what we got. So I've been Michael D'Angelo. He's been El Commandante Daryl Ortiz. Have a great week, everyone.